It's the Las Vegas Sports Line.
Las Vegas Sportsline. I am Dave Kogan. And joining me, as they always do on Wednesday, Teddy Covers, Ted Savransky.
Hey, hey.
Patrick Everson from Covers.com.
I am ready, steady.
Mark
A little too
Seidel.
chatty, sorry.
What's going on, Mark Seidel? Getting ready to head down to Carolina?
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Well, we know where you'll be for the holidays. We know where the Oakland Raiders will be for the holidays. But where will they be after that? Because as it stands right now,
Dun, dun, dun.
December 24th, Christmas Eve, will be the last game they play in Oakland in all likelihood.
Right.
That's home against the Denver Broncos. The suit, whatever.
That's plural.
Yes, one against the Oakland, one against the Raiders, one against the NFL for lost revenue. Which I'm not a lawyer, so I'm not going to get into that. But it is now doubtful that they will be playing any more games in Oakland. So 2019 will be a year where the Raiders are ostensibly orphans. I almost used the thick New England accent there and said orphans. Orphans. So we have a poll. I posted the poll at Twitter at Dave Koken, and you can vote. You have 4 choices. I left Oakland out because I don't think Oakland is even a choice at this point. So we want your vote, and we're going to come up with our own line here and our choices as to where the Raiders will play their home games in 2019. We know where they'll be in 2020. They'll be here in Las Vegas at the new stadium. So they have, it would appear, 4 choices for next year. Levy Stadium, whatever it's called, in Santa Clara, sharing it with the 49ers. Qualcomm at San Diego, where they would share it with the rats that live at the stadium. Sam Boyd Stadium here in Las Vegas, or, and I can't think of the name of the stadium, but it's on the Reno campus, the University of Nevada campus in Reno. I am going to make Reno the favorite.
It's hard to make a favorite. There was a 5th name I heard bandied about today.
Oh, I didn't hear that.
I heard the Alamo Dome in San Antonio.
Oh, I don't see that.
I don't see it either. But, I mean, none of the other options are good.
Well, no. Davis does not want to go to sharing a stadium with the 49ers even for a year.
No.
Sam Boyd, to me, is just not acceptable.
It's out. Sam Boyd's not even in the equation, I don't think.
Qualcomm, I don't think the NFL will approve it even for a year because they don't want 3 teams in Southern California. Kind of blows up the market, even though there's a good Raider base there. Reno is interesting, and this is why I made it the favorite, guys. Number one, the Raiders want to have their training camp there. So this would be a nice way of starting to bring some revenue into Reno and probably would make the city receptive to perhaps making whatever improvements are necessary to the stadium, because getting those couple of home games and getting a training camp is pretty good money.
Oh, it's a big economic
Oh,
boost.
yeah. And there's also a huge fan base there already because Reno ain't that far from Oakland. Okay, so I'm making Reno the favorite. What do you guys think?
I'll fire first. So at your request, Dave, I did put feelers out to some of the sportsbook guys.
Good.
And here's what's interesting is, look, we all know that Jay Cornegay is up to his eyeballs. That guy is a busy guy.
Yes.
But he was fascinated enough by this to literally give me odds
Nice.
on like
Good.
a
All
dozen,
right.
Awesome.
Now we're talking.
like a dozen cities.
A dozen.
I mean,
So
No,
what's the
all
chalk?
right.
What do you make the chalk?
This is
The
exciting
chalk is
now.
San Diego at 8-5.
Ooh.
Okay, good. I don't feel like such an idiot now. Because of the 4, that's what I mean. I was almost embarrassed to say it, but I'm like, Qualcomm has to be the answer. At this stadium,
Okay, all right.
it has to be.
I'm not going to argue against it. There's some logic there, certainly.
Sure.
Well, the other thing is that Mark Davis was like, I don't want another thing like with when the Oilers became we're in Nashville and then or we're in Memphis and then in Nashville, and,
Right.
and nobody showed up for their games in Memphis because Memphis and Nashville are not,
Well, will they show up in San Diego, considering they're only going to be there for 1 year, and probably will suck?
No. But at least it's an NFL stadium.
Wait a minute.
But it's an NFL
See, that's why
stadium.
that's why
But
I
the
was
whole point
making
of
Reno.
that was the anti-Reno thing. It's
Okay.
not like there's a great relationship between the 2 biggest. Well, is Henderson the second biggest city in the
Henderson is by far the second.
Yeah,
city.
okay.
It is?
Absolutely.
I
But
don't- I
the
don't know.
northern
How do I
and
know?
southern big cities in
You got it.
Yeah, there's
The
not
north-south rivalry.
Yes, it's real.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's in politics and sports.
Yeah.
No
so
question.
Well, yeah,
we
see, I
got
have
the
no
chalk. What
problem.
else we got? I'm interrupting.
But I'll point out, I have no problem with them playing in Reno, and also with training camp being there, as long as they don't change the name of the team to the Nevada Raiders. That
Sure.
I'd be pissed
Oh,
off.
Well, we don't care. It's a one-sided rivalry. Vegas, you're like, okay, you guys can hate us. We don't think
they're
anything
better
about
than
you.
we are in football and basketball now.
No question. But like I said, Jay really went to the mat. He spent a little time on this, which I certainly appreciate. So
San Diego 8-5 favorite.
8-5. Phoenix is the 5-2 second choice.
Ooh, I hadn't thought of that.
Yeah, Jay 3.
Yeah,
Jay doesn't even, surprisingly enough, Jay doesn't have Reno on his list. Now, maybe if he had time to reconsider, he might throw it on there, and I imagine it would be up there fairly high. But
Phoenix is the answer.
But he certainly put some thought into this.
The interesting thing is,
Well, you've got two options in
They
Phoenix.
could actually schedule double headers on Sunday and maybe fill the stadium with both teams playing there at the same time.
Maybe. But you've got the option of ASU there, too, I assume is why he was thinking
Yes.
of that.
Okay.
San Antonio 5-1, as you guys discussed. And then Jay threw out an interesting option as the co-fourth choice with San Antonio at 5-1. Multiple homes. Example, L.A., Pasadena, San Diego,
Oh, my
Mexico
God.
City,
Week by week.
London.
Oh, goodness.
That's
So,
interesting. That's interesting.
That's a tough season win total to set.
Yeah, no question. And then from there, he stole one of the items from the multiple homes, Pasadena, 10-1. San Francisco, which would be, I guess, Santa Clara, Levi Stadium, 10-1. Los Angeles, 18-1. Obviously, it really would glut the LA market. Portland, 25-1.
Now that's interesting. And they do have the Portland area. Obviously, maybe Eugene or something like that.
Right.
They have a stadium that is equipped to hold a lot of people, and is a nice stadium.
Yes. And then Las Vegas at 25-1, another long shot along with Portland. Then this is kind of funny. He initially set Seattle at 35-1. Maybe he's thinking University of Washington Stadium. I'm not sure, but perhaps sharing with the Seahawks as well.
Now, it would not be Washington State. Certainly, they're not going to go play in Portland.
No, definitely Seattle. But then he made Seattle and London the next two choices, both at 35-1.
London.
Then he texted me back like a couple of minutes later after he set the whole list. He's like, "Wait a minute, make Seattle 60-1 and London 1,000-1." He really
because let's face it, the Jaguars are the home team in London. All right?
absolutely
Yeah.
the Jags
But
are
not
definitely
yet, they're not.
Well, but I'm saying,
I mean, it almost
there
makes
every
sense
year.
for the Raiders to spend, If the league had a choice, they'd probably relegate Oakland to London next year. if it was,
I don't know.
If it was just the NFL making that decision.
If it was just the NFL making the decision,
And
then the NFL, I believe if the NFL alone were making the decision, they would force them to play in Santa Clara. Because it still keeps the market in place.
Yeah.
The stadium is fine, and they would be in the general vicinity. But Davis abhors the idea of sharing a stadium with the 49ers even for 1 year.
Yeah, Phoenix makes the most sense. The Phoenix, just because it's the least bad option. To me, it makes the most
I'm
sense.
sticking with the field. Do we have a field odds?
Are you kidding me? Jay Cornigan was so thorough on this, it's crazy. So then you got St. Louis at 50-1 with a stadium that's just sitting there
I
doing
like
nothing.
that. Okay.
Mexico City at 100-1, which is part of the part of the multiple homes thing.
I might even add another 0 because of the condition that we saw.
Yeah,
at
if
the field.
London's 1,000-1. It was only
London,
100.
he adjusted to London he initially thought 35, and then he went straight to 1,000.
Yes.
Maybe he got a really big sharp play on that. Big house player came in, took London, or went against London, I guess, and so he had to move London's odds.
If London's 1,000, Mexico City can't be 100. Is all I'm saying.
Right. Oh, well, he spent a lot of time in this, but probably had to flip through some of these rather quickly. And then the field, and maybe this would include Reno at 4. Well, it would in his list. Field at 4-1.
I'm taking the 4-1
because you like Reno.
Well, that's my. I call it a dark horse, but I think there's a real possibility.
And I got Phoenix at 5-2.
I hadn't thought of Phoenix until I saw it on his list, and you make a convincing argument. I mean, do you guys think that that's a combination?
My only convincing argument is that every other option stinks.
Well, that's true.
That's the argument.
I didn't ask Jay this, but do you feel like this is something where it would be two teams in Glendale, or somebody, or maybe the Raiders playing at Arizona State?
The report I read was Glendale, but again, it's mostly what we're reading is from guys like us that it was interesting to consider, but they've not spent weeks thinking about it. Whereas
right,
you have to think that someone somewhere has spent some time researching.
I would think so.
Maybe
I would think
to me the idea for any of these cities, it's look, and it doesn't matter that the team is lousy and there's a certain segment of the population. Oh, I don't want those people here. Even for a year, it's a cash cow for whoever gets this team because people will show up at the games.
Not at Qualcomm.
At San Diego, they'll still show up. There's a lot. Raiders have a big fan base in San Diego. No, they do. Raiders have a really big fan base.
I just don't think anyone's going to show up there.
That's part of the problem. Is I think the Raiders might have a bigger fan base than San Diego than the Chargers did.
They might outdraw I almost said San Diego Chargers, the Los Angeles Chargers. Well, I'm sure, as you pointed out, Dave, a lot of people have hopefully put their heads together and started thinking about this months ago. But for our purposes, I appreciate that Jay Cornegay thought about it for a little while this morning and really went to the well. It was great stuff.
That is really good stuff. Okay, well, you want to cast your vote or opinion. I put 4 choices up on Twitter. I did not include Glendale or Phoenix. I put up Santa Clara, San Diego, Las Vegas, and Reno. I don't think Las Vegas will get any votes. But,
it doesn't matter. It makes the least sense because you'd have to put a ton of money into Sam Boyd. There's no purpose in putting, they were talking, 9 figures into a stadium that's going to get blown up the next year.
It's just not going to happen.
Exactly.
But it's an option. If you want to vote on it, you can. Okay. Time for us to take a look at things you can actually bet on. And that includes some basketball and hockey tonight. We will go to our MJ Christensen 4 at 4.
1, 2. Bring it to the phone.
Put them 4s up. Put the 4s up, I said. Do it right now.
Tonight's action is just around the bend, and the guys want to get your night off to a great start.
4.
It's the Las Vegas Sportsline's 4 at 4.
Not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4. Unbelievable.
And it's all brought to you by MJ Christensen at Boca Park. Well, we're getting close. Today's, the 12th? Mm-hmm. So there's not a whole lot of shopping days left until Christmas time. And if you don't know what the hell you're doing, you better go about it now. This is just an idea. Pre-owned Rolex. And I know it's mostly guys that listen to the show, but you can drop your hints to the wife or the girlfriend that this is what you really want for Christmas is a Rolex. They've got pre-owned Rolexes at MJ Christensen. This is the perfect gift for him or her because they've got female, ladies' watches too. So, boy, you want to score some points. Getting her a Rolex, not a bad idea. And these are the real deal. I mean, they're complete with the paper, the box, warranty. They're located in Boca Park, MJ Christensen. Go over and see the displays for yourself. Great sale items throughout the store. Leading up until Christmas. Again, visit the website as well, mjchristensen.com, or their Facebook page. We go to the NBA, and I didn't think, even 25 games into the season, I didn't think there'd be much possibility that the Thunder would ever be the temporary number one seed in the Western Conference, but they play pretty good basketball. And they'll take on the Pelicans on the road tonight. Is this going to last long, Teddy?
Well, I mean, OKC started 0-4.
I know.
And since then, they're 17-4. You look at their defensive numbers; they've been off the charts. I think they have the number 1 defense in the NBA right now, based on defensive efficiency. That includes, of course, that early stretch.
Yep.
Where Westbrook was out, and they really were just kind of finding their feet. I like this team. I'll tell you what. Paul George is playing at a really high level right now, no question. But one concern about OKC tonight, they are coming off a big win. They had playoff revenge against Utah. And they blitzed them. They were up by 29 in that game. The final score not indicative of how the game was actually played. And this Pelicans team has been consistently inconsistent with the way you like it as a bettor. They've alternated wins and losses, 8 or 9 in a row now for New Orleans. And they are coming off a loss, and they're returning home, where they played much better this year. So there's a case to be made for the Pelicans as home dogs, even though you ask me what's the upside of these two teams? OKC's got the upside there. You talk about a sleeper to come out of the West. They're playing like they're going to give Golden State trouble when it comes to May and June.
Patrick, -2, the consensus current number right now with Oklahoma City favored on the road. Anything happening that you can determine at the windows?
Talked to Jeff Stoneback about all the games we have on the list on the rundown today, just a little bit ago. And really not much of a decision right now, pretty lightly bet. But what I noticed kind of flipping through some of the numbers, a little bit interesting. Most books are pretty stable at 2. A couple of books have dipped to 1.5. CG Tech actually went up to 2.5 for a while today.
Yeah.
And then back down to 2.
That's usually some pretty sharp money at that store, too.
Yeah, exactly. They do see some sharp play in there. So they went up